Nice. We officially have the string. Yeah. Right? Am I right, boys? Am I right, boys? Can we add these to the playlist? Titles and string quizzes public. Let's go. Nice. What do we have? Same sheet here, same sheet here. Okay. Okay. Fuck this guy off. Yeah, guys, today we're gonna be doing the first lesson of installing and configuring the Windows 10 11. So yesterday, basically, we already insert in a virtual, like Windows 11, the virtual machine. We did both an extended installation and checked and unchecked. We have had some problems with unchecked, unextended installation because it involved like configuring it by ourselves. But in this session, we are gonna be learning that too. Okay. So I think that today we're like 100% finishing this installation and configuring part. Then we are gonna have post installment things. Okay, that's great. If I downloaded these resources, is it like slides? It's like slides. What's that? Yeah, it's slides. From factors, select correct client edition, list of factors on main different devices, version Windows 10 okay. Okay. Apparently, it seems pretty much like easy, you know. Let's open this.
However, used for education. Wide brain will need to review their form factors by looking at how their devices are used. This will help them to decide which version or versions of Windows will be the most appropriate to install.
Okay.
Form factors are the different devices.
So basically, when choosing which Windows to install, there are like form factors. We decided by understanding the form factors. These form factors are device types, okay?
Within your organization, devices are often designed for specific purposes.
Yeah.
For example, devices designed for mobile working,
such
as phones, tablets, and laptops, or desktop devices, which might be very powerful machines for processing large amounts of data or video editing. Then there are more task-specific machines used for mostly one process only, such as the Xbox for gaming, an IoT device or Internet of Things devices, or a HoloLens device, which is a holographic computer often used for educational or design purposes. These are just a few examples of the Windows-based form factors. However, availability depends on the Windows Client Edition. Desktop editions of Windows 10 are available in both 32 and 64-bit. However, new Windows 10 devices from the 20
only sold as a
only sold as a 64-bit version. Most form factors today can run 64-bit versions of Windows. However, some older legacy devices might only be able to run the 32-bit version. Note that Windows 11 is only available as a 64-bit edition.
So Windows 11 is available only as a 64-bit. edition. Windows 10 is available in 32 and 64 bits, but like he said that from 2004 updates there is no 32 anymore. Okay, like the devices, like form factors, are all able to like most of them are able to run 64, like they support 64 bits. But like some legacy ones doesn't support 64 on only 32.
You'll see that 32-bit devices are limited to using less than 4 gigabytes of RAM. Therefore,
so that means that like 34 and 60, 32 and 64 is like basically the architecture of the system, all right, of the like 32-bit x86 and 64-bit x64 refer how the processor handles information. Okay, like 32-bit version of Windows 10 cannot handle more than 4 gigabytes of RAM, and 64-bit versions of Windows 10 have a limit of 128 gigabytes RAM or 2 terabytes, 6 terabyte RAM for business editions.
is to use the 64-bit processor architecture whenever you can, as this supports much more RAM. In order for Windows to use all of the RAM available, it requires a 64-bit processor. Thankfully, these are now the most common architecture used in new devices. As we've already mentioned, Wide Brain need to install the most suitable client edition.
Wide Brain need to install the most suitable client edition for their devices. What's wired?
As they have some legacy devices, it's likely that they will need to install several different client editions of Windows 10 and Windows 11. Wide Brain might also select a specific edition of Windows.
Yeah, from medical science in IT.
Hi there. I just want to share how.
Oh my god. In IT, Wide Brain is the formatted, but it's formatted a few things depends on context as well.
As we've already mentioned, Wide Brain need to install the most suitable
client edition for their device.
As they have some legacy devices, it's likely that they will need to install several different client editions of Windows 10 and Windows 11. Wide Brain might also select a specific edition of Windows for some of their devices if they require certain features. Let's review the different client editions of Windows. Home, this is designed for the individual home user and is not suitable for enterprise use. Pro is designed for small to medium-sized businesses or advanced home users. Pro for workstations offers the same features as Pro, but it is specifically designed for advanced performance and storage requirements.
Okay, maybe it's for the servers, yeah.
For larger organizations. We also have Enterprise LTSC, which is designed
for larger
organizations with restrictive change requirements. This edition of Windows does not receive any feature updates for its lifetime, which can be up to 5 or 10 years.
Oh.
Pro Education. This is similar to Windows Pro, but is specifically designed to meet the needs of teaching establishments. Education, similar to Windows Enterprise, but designed for teachers, schools, colleges, and students. An IoT Core or Enterprise. These are specific purpose devices where Windows is already embedded in the device by the manufacturer. Windows 10 or 11 in S mode is not an addition of Windows, but a lockdown version that limits functionality.
Safe mode.
Using Windows in S mode, you can only install applications
on the
from Microsoft Store
and
browse the internet using the Microsoft Edge browser. The Bing search engine is also provided, and a device in S mode can join an Azure Active Directory domain if it's using Windows Pro or Enterprise editions in S mode. From the Microsoft Store, you can install the Switch Out of S Mode app to switch off S mode. However, once switched off, it cannot be changed back. Now that we've learned about the different form factors and the different editions of the Windows client, let's consider some usage scenarios.
Okay.
This will help to illustrate the importance of selecting the correct edition of Windows client according to the device type and planned usage. Form factors are listed on the left-hand column of the table, and selected versions of the Windows client are shown across the top. Widebrain has some older desktop devices running Windows 8.0 and Windows 8.1.
What's a wire deeply adapted to teaching? Why do we have some older desktop devices running Windows 8?
Although they would like to upgrade these devices to Windows 11, they cannot because these desktops are 32-bit devices. Therefore, Widebrain will need to install a 32-bit version of Windows 10 on those legacy devices. Widebrain have a production line roasting and packaging coffee for their shops. They want to ensure that their production line is not stopped due to the issues caused by software updates. Therefore,
Guys, can you actually hear?
Of Windows 10 on those legacy devices.
Oh, you can hear it.
Have a production line roasting and packaging coffee for their shops. They want to ensure that their production line is not stopped due to the issues caused by software.
Okay, so we can hear it. Nice.
Widebrain will select the Windows 11 Enterprise LTSC or Long-Term Servicing Channel Edition to install for their production line PCs. This is because this version of Windows does not receive feature updates. Other devices in the Widebrain organization are point-of-sale devices which are used within their coffee shops. These devices run an older app which Widebrain have discovered cannot be run on Windows 11. Therefore, for these devices, Widebrain will install the Windows 10 Enterprise 64-bit client. Devices in the head office are the most standard form factors owned by Widebrain. Most are modern desktops and laptops, which can be easily upgraded to run Windows 11 Enterprise, which of course is only available in the 64-bit version. The final type of device in the Widebrain organization are a set of 4 desktops which are used to process and analyze sales data. Widebrain has purchased these devices to provide high performance with extensive data processing capabilities. Therefore, the Windows Client Edition selected for these devices will be the Windows 11 Pro for workstations.
I don't really understand these. That's okay.
The final topic for this section is to review the purchasing options for Windows 10 and 11. You've already learned that there are different client editions of Windows that can be purchased. There are also different ways to make those purchases. This can be to purchase an individual license, or if you're buying in bulk, you can use the Microsoft Volume licensing. There are various locations.
Okay, let me see.
This can be to purchase an individual license, or only think of the first one, such as a retail store, such as Amazon, or the device may already come pre-installed with Windows. OEMs or original equipment manufacturers such as Dell, Lenovo, or HP often bundle the operating system with the device directly, and the license is locked to that device. The benefit of using OEM is that the license may cost 50% of the normal retail price. A Windows solution provider is one of the thousands of Microsoft partners worldwide who specialize in supporting Microsoft customers, and they can also sell licenses too. If you're looking to buy Windows Home or Pro, then you can buy direct from Microsoft using their sales hotline or via the Microsoft Store sales and support. Finally, both academic and volume licensing programs allow organizations to save licensing costs by buying in bulk. And this is where they can purchase their licenses through Microsoft partners who specialize in licensing solutions.
Okay.
In this module, you learned about how to consider form factors and their usage when deciding on which version of Windows to install. You also saw a review of the current editions of Windows 10 and Windows 11 that are available, and saw usage scenarios which illustrated how to decide on which edition or editions to install. Finally, you saw a quick review of the various purchasing options for Windows 10 and 11.
Okay, let's go to the next module. Prepare hardware for installation.
For a wide range grade their devices to Windows 10 or 11, they'll need to undertake an analysis of their current hardware. This will allow them to establish if there will be any installation problems or hardware compatibility issues.
Okay.
The two main considerations are hardware requirements and hardware compatibility. We'll look at both these topics in this module, starting with hardware requirements.
Okay. Hardware requirements, hardware compatibility.
Need to ensure they know the minimum hardware requirements for the Windows client they plan to install. This will allow them to know which of their legacy devices are suitable for Windows 10, which are suitable for Windows 11, and which devices might need to be replaced with newly purchased hardware. The minimum hardware requirements for Windows 10 have a low specification. In fact, they're actually the same as was required for Windows 7. The specs are 1 GHz or faster processor, a hard disk space of 16 GB for 32-bit versions, and 20 GB for 64-bit, but you should allow more room for upgrades. For RAM, Windows 10 requires just 1 GB of RAM or 2 GB for 64-bit versions. They require a minimum of an 800 by 600 pixel display and a graphics card that supports DirectX 9 or later with a Windows Display Driver Model or WDDM.
Windows Display Driver Model.
And finally, optional internet connectivity, activation and updates. For Windows 11, the specs are slightly higher, including a 1 GHz or faster processor with 2 or more cores on a compatible 64-bit processor or system on a chip, SoC. A trusted platform module or TPM chip of 2.0 or higher for the hardware-based security functions, 64 GB of hard drive space, 4 GB of RAM, a high-definition display of at least 720 pixels, and a DirectX 12 compatible graphics card with Windows Display Driver Model 2.0 or later. And also, you must have a UEFI or Unified Extensible Firmware Interface to provide secure boot capabilities. And for Windows Home or Pro editions, you need to access Internet. This is required along with a Microsoft account, which is used during setup. We've seen the bare minimum requirements. However, in a modern computing environment, the minimum is often not enough. Many new software features included in Windows 10 and 11 are critically important for security. They rely on modern hardware components, such as a TPM or Trusted Platform Module, which is a chip required for full disk encryption. Without modern hardware components, Windows is not able to utilize features such as touch, BitLocker drive encryption, device guard, or client Hyper-V. Before you purchase any hardware, you should carefully establish which Windows 10 or 11 features that you require and ensure you have the necessary hardware. If you remember back to the previous module when we looked at form factors and suitable Windows editions, for some Windows editions such as Pro for Workstations, which is specifically designed for advanced performance, then you're going to need to have devices which have much greater hardware specification than the bare minimum. There are several ways in which you can view the hardware specifications of a device. For individual devices, you can use the Settings app to view the hardware information, or visit the hardware vendor's website to see if the information is listed there. For multiple devices, you cannot check each device individually. Therefore, you can use one of the following methods. An on-premise device, you can use the Microsoft Assessment and Planning Toolkit, and we'll have a look at this tool in the next topic, or use PowerShell to create a script to collect information from multiple devices on your network. For this, you'll need permissions to perform remote queries. Let's drop onto our demo PC and take a look at how to view the current hardware specifications using the Settings app.
Okay.
First, I'll click on Start, and then I'll click on the Settings option. To open the Settings app,
The fuck?
a list of options is shown, and I'll select the System option. In the System screen, I can then use the menu to view the information about the different components within the computer. Here I can see the storage, and see the size of the hard disk, and how much space is. Use the menu to view the information about the different components within the computer. Here I can see the storage, and see the size of the hard disk, and how much space is currently being used. And then back on the main systems menu, I can click on About, and here we can see the processor type and the RAM. If I go back to the main settings menu, I can view information about the graphics card.
Okay.
I can also use the System Information app. In the search screen, I'll type MS Info, and then select the System Information app. Here we can see a list of the system summary. I can see all of the different components, including subcategories for sound devices, display, networks, and storage. I find the system summary most useful as this combines the most common components on a single screen.
Nice.
You're watching Checking Hardware Compatibility. In this video, we'll cover how to complete small-scale and large-scale assessments of hardware compatibility in preparation for upgrading devices to Windows 10 or Windows 11. Before beginning the upgrade process, WideBrain decided to undertake some pre-upgrade validation using SetUp.exe. Doing this would allow them to identify which devices were not compatible with Windows 10 or with Windows 11. They knew that they had a number of older point-of-sale terminals and printers still on their IT asset register, which would probably need to be replaced with newer devices. After running the Windows SetUp.exe installer, the unsuitability of the older devices was confirmed, and using the results gained from the pre-upgrade validation, the IT team could then show which devices needed to be replaced.
Okay.
Management were able then to confirm that this historic equipment would be replaced with newer devices. Let's drop onto our demo PC and take a closer look at using the Windows setup to perform a pre-validation check. We've got a Windows 10 image saved to a DVD. I'll open a command prompt in admin mode.
Okay.
And then select our CD drive. We'll be running set.
Wait a minute.
I'll open a command prompt in admin mode. And then select our CD drive. We'll be running set executable in the scan only mode.
What? Oh. Okay, see then. Q. How do I exit this? How do I exit command prompt? CD. 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 Yeah. LS. What? Clear. What? What the? Change directory, no? What? Only directories. Help. Go to direct the Windows command interface to a bash program. Find cd displays the name of or change the current directory. Yes, I need this. cd How do I clear this, man? Maybe like clear. No. Holy. I mean, those some the tips for beginners. Let's see. See if I go to one level up. Oh, okay. CD. Us. Go to root of drive. Okay. Holy shit. There is this file in current directory. But I don't have this setup actually, user error case. Use tab for autocomplete, type part of a folder file name and press tab. Simply will autofill it. Okay, that's save and avoid mistake. Use arrow keys for history. It says clear the screen, CLS. Okay. Create, move and delete files. Make dir, remove dir, delete file, remove file. Find things quickly via notepad. Text files, basic notepad use 90, ipconfig, ping, ipconfig, directly notepad, calc, explorer. But I don't have this setup exe, man. Okay.
It will not perform a full upgrade. It will just check to see if the upgrade can be performed. We'll then issue this command, which is
Start. Wait. Setup exe.
setup.exe, auto upgrade, quiet, no reboot, dynamic update, disable, compat, scan only. I'll then let this tool run. What it does is establish what issues Windows 10 would have if it were installed, and then we can run the echo error level tool to actually read the output. The error is a decimal number, and we'll need to convert this to an hexadecimal, which we can do by using the calculator program by pasting in the number. We can then verify this number against the Windows 10 upgrade installation error web page, as shown on screen. And here we can see the various errors corresponding to incompatible issues, such as an incompatible app on a device. There are several possible values in the scan-only mode, such as no issues found, compatibility issues are hard blocks,
210, 208 issues found.
Migration choice, such as auto upgrade, is not available. This could relate to a wrong edition or the wrong architecture. The system doesn't meet the system requirements for Windows 10. There might be insufficient disk space to install Windows. There are several different error codes that the scan-only mode can produce, and you can check these at the website shown on the screen. Windows 10
support Microsoft.com and GB help. Listen. Change directory, download. CD C users. It's users definitely. Then it comes Legion. Yeah. It's in the what's the path? It's here downloads. Yep. Okay, we are here. ls. Oh, ls is not selected, right? Okay, what we have. Windows 11 installation on Assistant X. We don't have setup X, right? We have in English in x64 v2. Where is this? Yep, this one. CD win 25 h2. Oh, yep. I saw. Like, does this run? Run it? Does this run it? Actually? Where is S? How do I do that? I can control exit and get to D. Okay. CLS D here. Okay. But like in what format it should be? In what format Windows 11 installation should be to perform scan setup access scan only mode. A scan only mode, the inside media must be in a format that allows setup exit to run in place from within Windows. And files from an ISO typically. Okay, so we need to file extract. Yeah. Most common mounted ISO file. Right click Windows 11 and mount. This creates a virtual DVD drive. Okay, run scan only. Yeah. To a folder. Yeah. We need to extract. Compressor. First. What? Rename open with. What the fuck? Copy as path, compress to a zip file. Smart app control block device that might be as this file might be blocked because of files. What the fuck? How, man? It's blocking me. Oh my god, I hate this. I hate everything. I hate everything. Show more options. Extract here. Extract files. Extract. Okay. Okay, it's doing it. Okay. We can go to HTTPS. It helps with Windows upgrade and installation errors. Okay. Those L 11 and 12. Yeah. These are the errors. Okay. There's so much errors. Holy. Okay. Let's wait another second, then we can try that. We can also open a calculator. Hey, did the stuff. Here. Uh, really? We can go there or what? Yeah, we can. We can, absolutely. It's not recognized as an internal or external command. Okay, dear. Okay. So what were the commands?
Using the calculator program, we can run the
Start. Wait. Setup. .exe. Auto. Up. Upgrade. Quiet. No boot. Dynamic. Update. Disabled. Compat. Scan only. So start with okay.
no error level tool to actually read the output.
Okay, now it should like work, I think. Workbench. Workbench. Yeah. Echo. Separate. Yeah. Error level. Yep. Oh, we have to, yeah, okay. 104.75.27154. So we need the, we wanted which one? Hex.
We need to convert this to a hexadecimal, which we can do by using the calculator program by pasting in the number. We can then verify this number against the Windows 10 upgrade installation error web page, as shown on screen. And here we can see the various errors corresponding to incompatible issues, such as an incompatible app on the device. There are several possible values. Pasting in them, we can then verify this number against the Windows 10
FDF0.
installation error web page, as shown on screen.
What the? This one. Where's that? Where's that? BA. How?
Here we can see the various errors corresponding to incompatible issues, such as an incompatible app on the device. There are several possible values which the system requires. We can then verify this number against the Windows 10 upgrade installation error web page.
Verify this against. Like.
As shown on screen.
How? How, guys? There's no such things, man. Oh my god. I ran that code and converted the number to hex. Okay? No, like she should automatically show, right? What I'm like talking about. Shut up. So I ran a scan only command and received the number. The fuck? Talk to me. It is not like this. No. Format is this. What's it supposed to mean? My hex format is this shit, dude. He also received some bullshit, no?
Pasting in the number. We can then verify this number against the Windows 10 upgrade installation error web page, as shown on screen. And here we can see the various errors corresponding to incompatible issues, such as an incompatible app on the device. There are several possible values in the scan-only mode, such as no issues found, compatibility issues that are hard blocks which prevent us from moving forward. At the module, sale devices using the Windows setup during the installation of for small-scale deployments, you can draw up a list of all of the equipment used and verify that you can obtain Windows drivers. Most often, during the installation of Windows, the drivers are automatically found and installed using Windows Update. A common headache that Wirebrain found was locating 64-bit drivers for some of the hardware that previously used x86, that is 32-bit drivers, that were based on Windows 7 machines. The best place to find a driver is directly from the manufacturer's website. For larger scale installations, you'll need to use a tool. We can use the Microsoft Assessment and Planning Toolkit, or MAP. This allows you to inventory and assess existing hardware and peripherals. It can do this automatically across your whole network. We learned in the previous module, Windows 11
This is an upgrading, I think.
64-bit devices and not on a 32-bit machine. Wirebrain have already checked their very old point-of-sale devices using the Windows setup exit. However, they now need to check to see if their other, more modern devices are also suitable. Error codes at the forward by pasting in the number. We can then verify this number against the Windows 10, such as an incompatible app that are hard blocks which prevent us from moving that the scan-only mode can produce. And you can find significant issues unless a peripheral is quite old. Although, as we learned in the previous module, Windows 11 will only run on 64-bit devices and not on a 32-bit machine. Wirebrain have already checked their very old point-of-sale devices using the Windows setup exe. However, they now need to check to see if their other, more modern devices are also suitable for an upgrade to either Windows 10 or Windows 11. For small-scale deployments, you can draw up a list of all of the equipment used and verify that you can obtain Windows drivers. Most often, during the installation of Windows, the drivers are automatically found and installed using Windows Update.
Okay.
A common headache that Wirebrain found was locating drivers for some of the hardware that previously used x86, that is 32-bit drivers, that were based on Windows 7 machines. The best place to find a driver is directly from the manufacturer's website. For larger scale installations, you'll need to use a tool. We can use the Microsoft Assessment and Planning Toolkit, or MAP. This allows you to inventory and assess existing hardware and peripherals. It can do this automatically across your whole network and can produce excellent reporting that you can use as a basis for your upgrade strategy. The readiness report is produced in Excel. You can still download the MAP toolkit from the address on screen. The process for using the...
Let's download the map toolkit, no? Shall we? I mean, our only setup is like it's enough. Okay. Next. Next. Next.
hardware peripherals. You can do this automatically across your whole network and produce excellent reporting that you can use as a basis for your upgrade strategy. the readiness report is produced in Excel. You can still download the map toolkit from the address on screen. Your environment. The process for using the map toolkit is as follows. First, you choose your goals, then you gather the requirements, you prepare your environment, and install the toolkit. The tool will then collect data, and this will then be outputted in a number of reports.
Okay.
Let's drop onto our demo PC and take a closer look at the Microsoft Assessment and Planning Toolkit. In this demo, we'll install and review MAP, and then take a look at some sample reports. These reports provide a set of inventory of the Windows computers used within our demo company, WideBrain. First, we need to source and then install the MAP toolkit. Let's go quickly through the installation process. And then, once it's installed, I'll open the tool. First, we need to create a SQL database to hold
My fuck. Where is map? The fuck? Okay, nice. 9.9.
And then, once it's installed, I'll open the tool. First, we need to create a SQL database to hold the data that we're going to generate. On the left-hand side pane, we can select the system in which we wish to generate the assessment reports, and using the hold the assessment data that we're going to generate. On the left-hand side pane, we can select the system in which we wish to generate. Process. And then, once it's installed, I'll open the tool. First, we need to create a SQL database to hold the assessment data that we're going to generate. On the left-hand side pane, we can select the system on which we wish to generate the assessment reports, and using the right-hand pane, we can access the tools for the assessment. Once the assessment has been completed, we can see the results, and then select Generate Readiness Report.
Which one did he do?
We can select the system on which we wish to generate the assessment reports, and using the right-hand pane, we can access
usage tracking. So usage tracking does what?
Generate. On the left-hand side pane, we can select the system on which we wish to generate the assessment reports, and using the right-hand pane, we can access the tools for the assessment. Once the assessment has been completed, we can see the results, and then select Generate Readiness Report. This will generate reports, and these are saved in the Map Reports folder. If we then open File Explorer, we can navigate to the relevant folder and see the reports. I'll open a report, and here we can see in Excel, we can review the full details of the assessment.
Okay. So,
the tools.
Collecting notary data, maybe. Windows computers.
On the left-hand side pane, we can select the system on which we wish to generate the assessment reports, And using the right-hand pane, we can access tools, the assessment.
We need to also indicate, I think. Oh, three scenarios, discovery methods, actually. I don't really understand this part.
Assessment reports. And using the right-hand pane, we can access the tools, the assessment.
The fuck? I don't know, when? Combine for the scenario until you do the collecting inventory data, yeah. Collecting inventory data, yes, I know. Linux, Unix computers, VMware computers, device and users. Next. Previews. Next. Discover set. Which methods to use discover computers? Use Active Directory domain services. Use Windows networking protocols. Use System Center configuration manual. Scan an IP address range. Manual enter computers' names and credentials. Next. Dude. What the fuck? The required field. I am in a map toolkit and I want to collect inventory data, but I think fuck, I don't know, Active Directory credentials, yeah. There comes no. I call it and select the domain services, yeah. Okay. You can't use AD discovery without domain username, domain user, a password, network access to the domain. There's no workaround without credentials. Okay, so I can go. Okay, next, create us, manual entry, computer names, IPs, or group credentials. It works if machines are not in the domain or you only have a local access. Local admin credentials. If you know login for targeted PCs, format computer administrator. In my IP, I use this. Fuck, man, fucking local admin. If you know. Those local credentials can just your VM. So right now I am not on VM. I am on my Legion PC. Yeah, not PC, laptop. Normal Windows. I'm on a normal Windows account. I am on normal Windows account. It is like for only map toolkit. So here's the key. Why map is asking for AD credentials? Step 1. Choose correct discovery method. In map toolkit, Windows computers, not AD. Windows computers. Next. Use okay, no. I think I need these. Us? Then I press range. Yes. Twenty-five IP address specified. Next. Create. No. Fuck. Nah. Confidence for the technologies. No, you have chosen. Does this do it? Does it do it? Will it do it? Holy. Let's see.
The assessment has been completed. We can see the results. Then select Generate Readiness Reports. This will generate reports, and these are saved.
Total machine discovered 3. Close. The first one, the create header configuration for defined. Desktop, Windows 10 readiness, Windows 8, okay. Man, I don't understand. Who is this? Who is map for? Who is using MAP? No, no. Map to. So, I don't understand.
Folder. If we then open File Explorer, we can navigate to the relevant folder and see the reports. I'll open a report, and here we can see in Excel, we can review the full details of the assessment.
I don't really know, man. Fuck me, man.
During this Prepare Hardware Installation module, you've learned why it's important to assess the hardware for compatibility before starting the upgrade process to Windows 10 or 11. You've seen the hardware requirements for both Windows 10 and 11 and now understand why meeting the bare minimum of requirements is not always enough to fully utilize Windows features, particularly if you require security features such as port-free encryption and device guard. We then looked at how you can assess the hardware compatibility for Windows 10 by using the Windows Setup.exe in scan-only mode. We saw that you can find the hardware specs from manufacturers' websites, or for a larger organization, you can use the Microsoft Assessment and Planning Toolkit to capture data from your current devices and identify.
The important is me to explain in order to use all features of Windows. Use everything scanning for a pre-upgrade validation. Is manufacturer's hardware specifications. Standard
compatibility issues.
Okay. Okay. Well, what we can do? We can't do anything. Okay. Upgrade methods.
Wide brain.
PLB. Oh. Oh. Logismen. Oh. არ ვიცი რა ვიმე აბა. მისმინე, ეხა აზრი აღარაა, გასდა 6 საათს. Okay. Let's see, guys. Guys, I'm working on something. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Holy man, what's my password? I forgot the password, man. Okay, let's see.
Consider the best method to use in order to successfully upgrade their devices to Windows 10 and Windows 11. The type of device and the current installed version of Windows will all impact the way in which upgrades are completed. The two main methods to consider are the in-place upgrade method and the clean install method. In this short module, we'll take a look at the advantages and disadvantages of both of these methods, and you'll learn how to select the most appropriate method when upgrading.
So it means that either we can like format everything and clean install, or we can just upgrade it in place. But first of all, guys, let me do something, man. How did I forgot? Man. Holy cacao, man. How do I not remember my password, man? This shit, and I'm not receiving a code for something. Hmm. How did I forgot? Holy shit. How? What else can I? Man, how could I forgot? It's working on my nerves now. I'm not receiving the fucking code. Hmm. No, this is not it. Okay, I don't give a fuck now. Okay, let's continue. Or is
In-place upgrade method is Microsoft's preferred method to upgrade devices to Windows 10 and Windows 11.
Okay.
Let's find out what's involved with an in-place upgrade. As suggested by the name, an in-place upgrade is where your device has a new version of Windows installed on top of the current version of Windows. For example, upgrading from Windows 8.1 Pro to Windows 10 Pro, or from Windows 10 Enterprise to Windows 11 Enterprise. If a device is running Windows 7 or later, it can be upgraded with an in-place upgrade to Windows 10. In theory, you could then process an upgrade from Windows 10 to Windows 11. However, you may have hardware requirement issues with older devices. If you remember from the last module, the minimum hardware requirements are the same as for Windows 7, whereas Windows 11 has much greater hardware requirements and it's only available in 64-bit editions. Therefore, we can upgrade 32-bit devices to Windows 11. There are several advantages to using the in-place upgrade method when upgrading to Windows 10 or 11. These include the upgrade process updates the operating system whilst retaining any installed apps, user data, and user settings. There's minimal disruption to the user following an in-place upgrade because all of their templates, Office ribbon customizations, and personalized settings are all automatically transferred to Windows 10 or 11. You can revert back to the previous version of Windows within 10 days following the upgrade if you experience any issues, and the upgrade process is quick and efficient, and it's the one that is recommended by Microsoft. There's only one major disadvantage to using the in-place upgrade method, and this is the fact that you cannot always change the Windows edition during the upgrade process. For example, you cannot change from Windows 10 Home to Windows 10 Enterprise, although you could do this afterwards.
Okay.
Let's consider an in-place upgrade scenario for Wired Brain. Here, they've decided to move some of their devices to Windows 10. They already have a well-established automated method of deploying Windows 7, complete with applications and their corporate settings. However, there is concern about updating some of their Windows 7 devices. Due to the length of time since Windows 7 was installed, it's expected that the systems are now not as clean as they should be. Therefore, it was decided to re-image the Windows 7 PCs using the WiredBrain's existing Windows 7 automated deployment method. And then these fresh Windows 7 devices could be upgraded to Windows 10 using the in-place upgrade method. By using this workaround, this saved WiredBrain from having to set up a new automated deployment method for Windows 10. Prior to Windows 10, the typical way to move to a newer version of Windows was to perform a clean install, as we'll see in the next module. This is no longer the recommended method. Instead, Microsoft fully recommend using the in-place upgrade method. Microsoft have been perfecting the in-place upgrade process, and it is now robust and reliable.
Okay.
When upgrading devices, it's sometimes necessary to fully reinstall the operating system by using the clean install method. Let's find out more. With this method, you'll wipe the hard drive, and you can even reformat the hard drive and start again. You're guaranteed a new standardized configuration, especially if you use an automated deployment.
Okay. Here's a demo.
With a clean
Where's the demos?
you'll also have full control over the drive configuration, such as what partitions will be created, you'll be able to configure BitLocker drive encryption settings, and other installation choices. As long as your device meets the minimum hardware requirements, you will be able to install any edition of Windows 10 or 11. Because the installation drive can be reformatted, a clean install is useful to remove any traces of a previous installation, any files or corruptions, and infections such as ransomware. There are two main disadvantages of using the clean install method. The first is that it's a more involved, time-consuming process than simply using the in-place upgrade method. You'll need to obtain Windows 10 or 11 media, image it, and then set up the deployment method, either using a manual process or using an automated process in order to perform the deployment. The second disadvantage is that this upgrade method doesn't retain any of the user apps, user data, or user settings. So, there are two main disadvantages of using the clean install method. The
Doesn't train, yeah.
Is a more involved, time-consuming process than simply using.
It's not that time-consuming. I think so.
You need to obtain Windows 10
2 hours.
Media, image it, and then set up the deployment method, either using a manual process or using an automated process in order to perform the deployment. The second disadvantage is that this upgrade method doesn't retain any of the user apps, user data, or user settings. You'll need to export these and then re-import them afterwards if you want to keep these settings. This is known as a migration, and we'll cover this at a later stage. In this module, you learned about the two methods of updating your devices to Windows 10 or Windows 11. These were the in-place upgrade method, which is the recommended and easiest method to use. This method is also beneficial to the end user as it retains all of their apps, their user data, and user configured settings. The second method is the clean install. You might use this if you want to reconfigure the hard drive, remove any or all settings, or if you want to swap from one edition of Windows to another. In the upcoming modules of the course, you'll learn more about how to perform both an in-place upgrade and perform a clean installation, and learn about the tools that you can use for both techniques.
Pardon. Yeah.
In this module, you learned about the two methods of
The fuck? Holy shit. Guys, wait. The fuck? What's happening? My internet is getting fucked. Good. Nice. Every time there is something that fucking... Holy shit, man. Yeah, my internet is getting fucked. Oh my god, man. I'm fucking tired of this shit. It's working here. What? What was that? Phantom. Fuck off, chat.
As well.
Nice, dude, nice. Shit.
Oh, we got 2 on here.
I mean, it looks cool as fuck when you shoot it.
What the fuck? It looks so cool.
Get your gyros, boys.
The fuck? Come on, brother.
We go back and we go cultural.
Right.
Oh, there's another one here.
Oh shit.
Holy shit.
Alright.
This is pretty sick.
Looks like a galaxy every time you shoot it.
Literally,
Come on, man. It's not refreshing. What the fuck?
Does holding it down give you more power? Well, if you ADS it, it's more of a beam. But you can definitely hip fire it like a shotgun. You can't hold it, just instant shoots.
Oh my gosh, that's scared shot me.
We have done a 3% only.
That's like a solar flare.
Wait, that is sheer metal? That's weakened?
I'll open it.
It's weakened.
Bro.
Nice.
Not all editions of firmware will allow you to perform an in-place upgrade to Windows 10 or 11. Therefore, in this topic, we'll look at the upgrade and downgrade paths that are allowed in order to understand which Windows editions can be upgraded using the in-place upgrade method. It's important that you check before you commence an upgrade that you can upgrade your current version because it will save you money. This is because an upgrade license costs much less than a full new version of a license. There are no upgrade paths to Windows 11 from any edition of Windows other than Windows 10. Therefore, most of the following tables in this module will refer to grading to Windows 10 only. However, if your hardware meets the requirements for Windows 11, then you can perform an in-place upgrade to Windows 10 and then perform a second in-place upgrade to Windows 11. We'll start by looking at Windows 7. The table shows some editions of Windows 7 cannot be upgraded to Windows 10. You'll see that in
Windows 7 upgrade path to Windows 10. Starter can be upgraded to Windows Home 10, Windows Home Pro, Windows Home 10 Pro Education, Home Base, okay. Professional can be, okay.
cases, you can perform a full place upgrade, which will retain all of the personal data, settings, and applications for the user of that device. However, if you want Windows 10 Pro for workstations, which is aimed at the specialist market, then you'll first need to upgrade to Windows 10, and then you'll upgrade to Windows 10 Pro for workstations. When downgrading from Windows 7 Professional or Ultimate to Windows 10 Home, you'll lose all of your personal data stations. When downgrading from Windows 7 Professional or Ultimate to Windows 10 Home,
so from there's this thing. Let me take a picture, guys. Let me take a picture. Send it to my WhatsApp. No, I don't have a WhatsApp here. Holy. Can you send to my email? compose to me. This guy. Go to my email. Go to my email. Yeah, this one. So downgrading means that even from Windows 7 to Windows 10 we can downgrade, so Windows 7 with, for example, let's say we had Windows what was he saying?
Windows 10 Pro
Okay.
for workstations. When downgrading from Windows 7 Professional or Ultimate to Windows 10 Home, you'll lose all of your personal data, settings, and applications. Therefore, it's advisable to ensure that you have a viable backup of these settings and data in place. Let's now take a look at Windows 8 and Windows 8.1. You see that in nearly all of the cases, you can perform a full in-place upgrade, which will retain all personal data, settings, and applications. However, the table also shows that not all combinations are possible. Windows 8 and 8.1 did not have a Home Edition. The base or core edition was referred to as Windows 8. You'll also see that Windows RT cannot be directly upgraded to Windows 10. This is because there is a feature upgrade for Windows RT that provides the Windows 10 Start menu. You could think of this as a workaround, but not a full upgrade. Let's take a look at upgrading Windows 10 to another edition of Windows 10 using the in-place upgrade method. There are times when you may need to change the edition of Windows being used. For example, one of the Wide Brain Coffee employees needed to purchase an urgent replacement laptop, and they did this through their local retail store. The laptop came with Windows 10 Pro installed. This is not suitable in an enterprise environment, and therefore the employee had to then upgrade the device to Windows 10 Enterprise. And they could do this by using the Windows 10 Enterprise product key, which then upgraded the device to the Windows 10 Enterprise Edition. You can see from the table which editions of Windows 10 can be swapped to a different edition of Windows 10 by using an in-place upgrade. If you still have devices running Windows XP, then there is no way to say this, but there's no supported method to perform an in-place upgrade to Windows 10. You'll also need to review the hardware, because it's unlikely that any hardware running a Windows XP
version of Windows
is suitable for running a later version of Windows such as Windows 10 or 11. The final table I want to show you is how you can use the in-place upgrade method to upgrade from Windows 10 to 11. As you can see from the table, you can also switch between certain editions of Windows whilst also performing the update. For example, from Windows 10 Pro to Windows 11 Enterprise.
There was 10 Pro to Enterprise.
For a whole year after Windows 10 was released, Microsoft offered free upgrades. After a year, anyone wishing to upgrade needed to purchase a license or licenses for Windows 10. At the time of recording this course, Microsoft are also offering free upgrades to Windows 11 from their Windows 10 product. No date has been announced for when this offer may expire. Let's drop onto our demo PC and take a look at where we can find the edition details for Windows. I'll show you how to find this information in several ways. I'll type win ver, and here we can see the operating system is displayed on the pop-up. You can also right-click the start, select ver, the edition details for Windows. I'll show you how to find this information in several ways. I'll type win ver, and here we can see the operating system is displayed on the pop-up. You can also right-click the start.
Okay. We're sending it to okay. Home, yes.
Select settings, select system, and then on the left
About,
side,
okay.
about. And here we can see the Windows specifications. On this machine, we have Windows 10 Pro, the version, and the OS build number. When looking at the tables of upgrade and downgrade paths, we saw how you can use the in-place upgrade method to perform a Windows 10 additional update. That is where you already have a Windows 10 installation, but you need to change it to a different Windows 10 version. Let's drop onto our demo PC and configure our Windows 10 Pro PC to be upgraded to Windows 10
How do I do
Enterprise.
this?
First, I just want to go and check to confirm what edition of Windows 10 we're using. And here we can see that we're using Windows 10 Pro. On the About screen, there's an option to change product key or upgrade your edition of Windows. We can use this option to upgrade the edition of Windows by entering a new product key. Note that this requires administrative credentials on the local PC. You'll enter a product key, and the product key will be validated, and the upgrade can then be started. The edition upgrade is processed like any other feature update. Once the upgrade is finished, we're then presented with a notification advising us that the edition upgrade has been completed. And here we can see the PC now has the Windows 10 Enterprise Edition installed.
Okay.
Now that we've considered the upgrade paths, we need to review how to perform an in-place upgrade. Let's start by looking at the tool which manages the upgrade process. Windows Update has been included as part of Windows since Windows 98, and it's still being used for Windows 10 and Windows 11. This tool provides updates from Microsoft. These include bug fixes, which are called security updates, and new features, which are called feature updates.
Let me quickly show you these pictures.
Perform.
Let me quickly show you these pictures. This is like from Windows 10 to Windows 10, like it's editions. And these are from Windows 10 to Windows 11. Great passes. You see it? Yep. Nice. Continue.
Upgrades between Windows versions and Windows editions.
So Windows Update, yeah.
Has four main areas of functionality. These are scan, download, install, and commit. Within scan, we use the Orchestrator update service, which is the service within Windows that manages Windows updates.
Okay.
First, Orchestrator scans the destination device. It will then verify it has admin approval and it has policies for the downloads. Once the scan is complete and everything looks okay, the download will begin. Windows Update downloads a manifest of the available update files and provides them to the arbiter, which checks the files against the manifest. The arbiter is a computer daemon. In effect, think of a middleman that collects the information about the device and evaluates.
So every time I start to download, okay, Windows Update downloads a manifest of available update files. Available is a manifest against the device.
The manifest against the device and tells Windows Update which updates or which update files are needed. Windows Update client then downloads the required files to a temporary folder. The arbiter, in effect, three stages. First, the manifest, and then the download files.
The Windows Update downloads the files to a temp folder. Okay. The elevator stages the files are doing so.
Installation. And what this does effectively is speed up the whole process by doing it in two parts. The manifest, which is unchecked, and the files, which are then checked again. There are two steps to the installation phase. First, the orchestrator starts the installation, and then the arbiter calls the installer to install the package. The update download can be interrupted or restarted, but the actual installation must be performed in one clean operation. If the update isn't completed, then it will be rolled back, and it will then need to be restarted again from the beginning. The reason why this is being done is to preserve the integrity of the files so that only a complete set of files is used during the upgrade process.
Okay.
The final stage is the commit phase, and this is when the orchestrator requests a restart of the device, and the arbiter process finalizes all of the operations before the restart. The Windows Update tool also includes a user interface that can be used on each device to view the update information. And you can see this view via the Settings app, and we'll see information such as the update history, detailed information on each update, and also an option to check for updates. And we'll see this in the demonstration. Let's drop onto our demo PC and perform an interface upgrade using Windows Update. Here we can see the Windows Update interface, and we'll start an update from Windows 10 to Windows 11. I can click the Download and Install option. The upgrade process can take up to an hour or longer depending on your hardware. It may also incur several restarts, which are part of the process and will be automated. The upgrade completes, and let's take a look at the addition information. And here we can see that the device is now showing Windows 11. And therefore, the upgrade from Windows 10 to 11 has been successful. BitLocker drive encryption is used to provide complete disk drive protection by encrypting everything on the hard disk of a device. Widebrain are using BitLocker on several laptops to ensure that their corporate data cannot be read or accessed even if a device has been stolen or lost. However, their devices cannot be updated to a new version of Windows when BitLocker is active. Thankfully, the Windows upgrade process will automatically recognize, pause, and then re-enable BitLocker drive encryption during the upgrade process. You can also choose to manually turn off BitLocker until the next reboot cycle. Let's drop onto our demo PC and suspend BitLocker drive encryption. You may want to manually suspend BitLocker so that you can install any third-party software. Let's drop onto our demo PC and turn off BitLocker drive encryption. I'll click Start and then type Command.
What the?
Using this, which is part of the process and will be automated.
Okay.
The upgrade completes, and let's take a look at the addition information. And here we can see that the device is now showing Windows 11, and therefore the upgrade from Windows 10 to 11 has been successful. BitLocker drive encryption is used to provide complete
Drive is used to provide complete disk drive protection.
disk drive protection by encrypting
Everything on the hard disk of a device.
on the hard
Okay.
disk of a device. Widebrain
Using method on several laptops.
and using BitLocker on several laptops to ensure that their corporate data cannot be read or accessed even if the device has been stolen
Or lost. Okay.
However, their devices cannot be updated to a new version of Windows when BitLocker is active. Thankfully, the Windows upgrade process will automatically recognize, pause, and then re-enable BitLocker drive encryption during the upgrade process. You can also choose to manually turn off BitLocker until the next reboot cycle. Let's drop onto our demo PC and suspend BitLocker drive encryption. You may want to manually suspend BitLocker so that you can install any third-party software. Let's drop onto our demo PC. I turn off BitLocker drive encryption. I'll click Start and then type Command. And next to Command Prompt on the right-hand side, I'll click Run as Administrator.
Run.
And then I'll type the command manage-BDE status. And here we can see that BitLocker is enabled on this device. To manually turn off BitLocker, I'll type manage-BDE off, and then check the status again. And here we can see that BitLocker is turned off.
Okay. So BitLocker is okay.
You've just learned how to perform an in-place upgrade using Windows Update.
Okay.
To use Windows Update, the device needs to be connected to the internet. If you have a device that does not have access to the internet, you will need to use offline installation media for the in-place upgrade process instead. Wirebrain own a couple of PCs that are not connected to the internet. These are already running Windows 10, but they're not up to date with the latest Windows 10 build because they've not been receiving any Windows updates. Wirebrain first need to create the offline media for the upgrade to take place. They'll use an internet-connected PC to download the installation files using the media creation tool. This tool creates offline media, which will then be used to upgrade offline PCs. The media creation tool generates a ready-to-use bootable USB flash drive or an ISO file, which can be mounted onto a Windows 10 PC or burnt to a DVD. The media creation tool is also able to provide you with the latest build of the operating system. This ensures that your installation media is up to date and is ready to upgrade to Windows 10 or 11 or to update Windows 10 PC or burnt to a DVD. The media creation tool is also able to provide you with the latest build of the operating system. This ensures that your installation media is up to date and is ready to upgrade to Windows 10 or 11 or to update the current build of your operating system. Unfortunately, the MCT tool is not suitable for Enterprise Edition clients and only Home and Pro Editions. Let's take a look at how this tool works. First, you'll need to download the tool from Microsoft. There are two versions of the MCT tool, one for Windows 10 and another for Windows 11, and these can be downloaded from the URLs shown on screen. Once the media creation tool has downloaded, run the tool, read and accept the license agreement. Next, from the two options, either upgrade this PC now or create installation media, select the second option. Remember that we're using this internet-connected PC to merely obtain the installation files to update some other non-connected device. You'll need to select the installation options, language, edition, and architecture that is most suitable to your environment. You'll also need to choose whether you want to create a USB flash drive or if you want to obtain the ISO file instead. Because the USB flash drive is going to store the whole of Windows 10 or 11 installation files, you're going to need a large USB flash drive. This needs to have at least 8 gigabytes of available space. It will need to be reformatted, so be careful to ensure that the USB drive does not contain any files that you currently need. There are two ways that the offline Windows 10 edition upgrade can be performed, either by using File Explorer and navigate into the USB drive, and then the upgrade files, and then run the setup wizard to perform the upgrade. Or we can boot to the offline media. We'll drop onto our demo PC and download the installation media from Microsoft and use the MCT tool to create bootable media. I'll open my browser and I'll look for the Media Creation Tool app, select it and download it. I'll now launch the app.
Installation media.
And the tool will automatically detect our Windows system. We'll then need to decide if we want the tool to create a bootable USB drive or an ISO file which contains the Windows 11 installation media.
Choose the ISO.
I want to choose the ISO option. You'll then need to wait whilst the tool retrieves the latest Windows 11 build available and downloads it to your chosen location. Of course, you can minimize this window and the wizard will continue in the background. The download may take several minutes depending on your internet connection speed.
Okay. Choose ISO.
Once downloaded, the tool will verify that the download file is complete and it's free from any defects.
Okay. Waiting. Waiting. Nice. So basically he chose these guys to show you guys. He chose this one. Yep. Yeah, actually there's like every information you need. As you download it, you choose. He chose ISO. You can choose a USB flash drive.
Up-to-date offline installation media. This media can be used to start the upgrade process. You can also use the offline media to perform a clean installation if you need to. Let's drop onto our demo PC again. I downloaded and ran the media creation tool earlier, and therefore I already have the offline media for this upgrade. First, we'll start the upgrade process by using File Explorer. I'll mount the ISO file. And then I'll double-click the Setup executable to start the upgrade process. The wizard will perform the update process and will prompt for answers to questions where required. We need to select the Not Right Now box when asked if we want to install any updates, as we're not connected to the internet.
Okay.
These updates can be performed after the installation. The wizard will check for compatibility issues and display the license agreement and then perform the upgrade.
Okay. So you can do the mount and install like immediately. But wait, he didn't have an internet. He downloaded, mounted, and installed. Illegal. Okay.
If you encounter a problem during an upgrade or update, Windows can use tools to help you diagnose the problem. The upgrade log files can also use the setup diag tool. Let's take a look. When you perform an upgrade, log files are created during the upgrade process. Different files are created for a different upgrade. Then, for a failed upgrade or update, one of the logs that's created for a failed upgrade is the setup error log file. You can view the log file to look for error codes.
Okay.
Once you have an error code, you can view the descriptions for the error codes at the URL on screen. Setup diag is a command line tool for Windows 10 and 11. It can be used to diagnose why a Windows upgrade or update failed. For example, you may have a failure when a security or feature update fails, or if your upgrade from one Windows 10 edition to another errors. Setup diag will search your Windows setup log files to look for known issues and help you to identify the upgrade problem. Remember, you'll only need to use these advanced level tools if you have a persistent error or failure. Most times, the upgrade process will be seamless and perform without error.
Prevent upgrade to Windows 10 11. Prevent.
Widebrain has many devices that use an older version of Windows, and they've chosen not to upgrade a few of these to Windows 10 or 11.
Not.
There may be many reasons for this decision. For example, the license cost, the device may not be suitable, there may be bandwidth limitations, or even software compatibility issues. Within an enterprise, you typically need to have more control over how Windows behaves, and this can include how it upgrades or updates itself, because this may have huge impact on application compatibility or other services that you need to control. All editions of Windows 10 and 11 will automatically receive quality updates. Remember, these are the security patches and fixes. They'll also receive feature upgrades, which include new and improved functionality. These updates are provided on a regular, ongoing basis and cannot be blocked. However, with the Windows Pro, Enterprise, and Education editions, you can modify the behavior of these updates. For example, you can pause both quality and feature updates for 35 days. You can defer quality updates for 30 days and defer feature updates for up to 365 days. Therefore, you can push back any automatic updating or upgrading of Windows 11 on a Windows 10 machine. For Windows 10 and 11 devices, we'll use Microsoft Intune to manage upgrades and updates.
Okay.
First, I need to log into my Microsoft Endpoint Manager. And then on the left-hand side, I'll navigate to Devices, and then Update Rings for Windows 10 and later. And here I'll create a new profile. I'll select the
What's
Create
this?
Profile option.
Holy.
I can then create an update ring and specify how and when my devices will be upgraded and updated.
Mm-hmm.
Devices that are allocated to the same update ring will then all receive upgrades and updates in the same way at the same time. For the profile, I need to enter a name and description and then click next. Under update ring settings, I'll select block product updates and block driver updates.
Mm-hmm.
I can then modify the amount of time that needs to elapse. I'll configure the deferred quality updates by the maximum time of 30 days. And I also want to use the option to upgrade Windows 10 devices to the latest Windows 11 release. And I want to select yes to allow eligible devices to be auto upgraded to Windows 11. I'll then click next. The assignments, I would then select any groups that I want to be included in this update ring. And to wrap up, I'll then click next to review the settings, and as I'm happy, I'll then click create. And as you can see, that's now created the new update ring.
How? Like this is like automation, right? How are they executing this? For who is this endpoint Microsoft? Uh, for who is Microsoft Endpoint Manager Admin Center? For IT administrators and who manage devices and apps in organizations. Okay. Company IT admins used by IT teams in businesses to manage employee laptops, phones, and tablets. Okay, push software and updates, enforce security rules, password encryption, etc. Okay, okay. Device management, enterprise use. Admins can control Windows PCs, Android devices, iPhones, iPads, company-owned devices. Security is used to block unsafe apps, enforce compliance, wipe lost stolen devices remotely. Okay. System administrators, IT engineers. This is a core tool in IT jobs, especially system administrator, IT support engineer, cloud engineer, security engineer. Okay. Who it is not for regular home users, gaming lab, company, personal device control, mostly I say, simple exercise. Panel for company device, yeah. Okay. So most of the companies, like most of the big companies use this. In terms of usually together with other enterprise tools. 13 big item. Most large companies use a stack, not just one to mix the ecosystem, very common. Also use Intune endpoint management, device management, Active Directory, and ID identities for the logins, Defender for security, and okay, collaboration. Hybrid environments very common in enterprise companies often combine Intune, on-prem Active Directory, third-party tools. Other companies also use the VMware Workspace ONE, Jamf for Apple-heavy companies, Google Endpoint Manager for Google Workspace environments. Simple truth. Small companies maybe, okay? Okay. Okay. Let me grab a meal. Guys. We are back, boys. Okay, so Intune is like another skill that we need to learn, guys. And we're fucking ready. We're fucking ready. No, baby.
In this module, we reviewed the suitability of upgrading to Windows 10 or Windows 11. We then learned how to complete an in-place upgrade by using Windows Prepare. We then saw how to perform an in-place upgrade using offline media, and learned how to troubleshoot upgrade issues by using error logs and also the setup diet tool. Finally, we saw how to prevent an older version of Windows from being automatically upgraded or updated. We know that Microsoft's best practice is to perform an in-place upgrade to Windows 10 or 11. However, sometimes an upgrade is not appropriate. For example, maybe your device has been infected by ransomware or a virus, or the previous operating system is really old and cannot be upgraded, or maybe the PC keeps crashing when you try to perform an upgrade. In this module, we'll take a look at the enterprise installation methods available and how to perform a manual clean install.
Okay.
In essence, all Windows installation methods move the Windows bits from the source media to the destination hard drive. That's on your computer. This process has been consistently improved with each version of Windows. And now, Windows 10 and 11 offer us a streamlined and very reliable process. There are two methods available when installing Windows 10 or 11 onto an individual device. It has been consistently improved that move the Windows bits from the source media to the destination hard drive that's on your computer. This process has been consistently improved with each version of Windows. And now, Windows 10 and 11 offer us a streamlined and very reliable process. There are two methods available when installing Windows 10 or 11 onto an individual device. You can install from a DVD. However, this is now quite an old-fashioned method and it's been phased out. Alternatively, you can install directly from a fast USB thumb drive. Let's take a look at these installation methods now.
Okay.
Windows installation DVDs are no longer available from Microsoft. In fact, they stopped shipping these several years ago.
Yep.
However, you may
No laptop has anymore like DVD, CD, DVD like ports.
for the robustness of a DVD, and therefore you can still create your own. To help you, Microsoft provides ready-to-burn ISO images of their software, and enterprises can download these for the installation process. The ISO image that is used by a DVD can also be used to install Windows into a virtual machine. Just a note here that there are other formats of the Windows image provided by Microsoft, such as WIM or WIM and ESD, and both these modern file formats compress the Windows image into a tighter, smaller footprint. However, the ISO image is the type that we usually use on DVDs. The second installation method for Windows is by using a USB thumb drive. If you purchase a retail package version of Windows instead of a retail online version, then it will come on a small USB thumb drive.
Okay.
The ISO image is the type that we usually use on DVDs. The second installation method for Windows
Is by using a USB thumb
is
drive?
by using a USB thumb drive. If you put
Retail package version of Windows. If you purchase a retail package.
a retail package version of Windows instead of a retail online.
So basically, there is a retail online version and the retail.
Method for Windows is by using a USB thumb drive. If you
A retail package version of Windows and retail online package version, online version.
purchase a retail package version of Windows instead of a retail online version, then it will come on a small USB thumb drive which contains the installation files. USB drives offer an increased performance of between 10 and 20 times the speed of using a DVD, so you can install Windows quicker via a modern USB drive. However, with a USB drive, you can still only install Windows on one PC at a time. Also, if you're booting to USB, you may need to modify the settings in your BIOS or UEFI to enable the option to boot from USB rather than the hard drive. Your device may also have a function or delete key that you may need to press during the boot time to manually select the option to boot from USB. Both of the install methods that we've just reviewed can only be used when you're installing Windows 10 or Windows 11 on an individual device. Our company
Using a DVD or USB thumb drive is only suitable for installing Windows on just a few devices.
brain needs to consider how to update several devices at the same time, and therefore using a DVD or USB thumb drive may not be an effective way to install Windows. However, there are several enterprise installation methods that WideBrain can use instead that we'll cover in a later video.
Okay.
Enterprises typically operate at a much larger scale and need to deploy or update hundreds or thousands of devices at the same time. Previously, as WideBrain opened new coffee outlets, they installed each new PC individually. However, now they have several hundred PCs spread across the company. This option is too labor intensive and slow. Therefore, they want to understand the options available to them for installing Windows at scale. The first at-scale deployment method for Windows 10 and 11 is to deploy Windows over a corporate network. This is a fast and reliable method of deploying Windows. You'll start by storing the Windows installation files on a network share. Because the files are stored on the network, it's easy to maintain and update a single set of source installation files. You'll navigate to the network resource within File Explorer and run Setup. Alternatively, you can use a special bootable tool called Windows PE, which will then start your computer on the network and then connect to the network installation files. And if you have a 100 megabit or faster network speed, you can also install multiple devices simultaneously from the same source using a technology called multicast.
Wait, what? Maintain and update one set of source files, use files and stuff, or use it?
Navigate to the network resource within File Explorer and run Setup. Alternatively, you can use a special bootable tool called Windows PE, which will then start your computer on the network and then connect to the network installation files. And if you have a 100 megabit or faster network speed, you can also install multiple devices simultaneously from the same source using a technology called multicast. The network installation deployment method is an improvement on using a DVD or USB thumb drive. However, it can still be a fairly manual process. There are more modern installation methods that offer automated deployment, which are quicker and often easier to manage once you understand the process. Enterprises need a fast, reliable, and efficient process for deployments. Especially deployments at scale use automation to make sure that the deployment is more hands-off and consistent. Microsoft provides 4 automated deployment methods. These are Windows Deployment Services, or Windows DS, using the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit, known as MDT, using Configuration Manager, and Windows Autopilot. The Windows Deployment Services, or Windows DS, is a server role that runs on your Windows server. You can use Windows DS to create and store a library of Windows images that can be deployed across the local network. The destination PC.
So Windows DS is a server role, create and store a library of Windows images. Target computers uses PXE and DHCP to describe Windows DS server on the local network.
You can use Windows DS to create and store a library of Windows images that can be deployed.
It's the local network.
The destination PC, that is the target computer, uses a technology called Pixie Boot and DHCP. These allow the PC to locate the Windows DS server and then request the Windows image. The Windows DS server can then serve that image to one or more destination PCs simultaneously. The Microsoft Deployment Toolkit, or MDT, is a free set of tools that includes reference guides and processes that allow administrators to fully automate the deployment of customized images. The tools within the MDT can be used to deploy operating systems, applications, drivers, updates, and other required settings. You can use MDT to scale your deployments to one or thousands of devices across your network. The MDT uses many of the familiar tools that are included in the Windows ADK, or Windows Assessment and Deployment Toolkit. For even larger scale and levels of customization, Microsoft offers the Configuration Manager. This offers a suite of tools and processes that allow administrators to automate the deployment of customized images across Windows, Android, and iOS devices. It also includes completely zero-touch deployments. You can use Configuration Manager to deploy devices that are not even switched on. Configuration Manager will automatically turn on the device.
A deployment solution, large enterprise suite of tools and processes to automate deployment for Windows and iOS devices includes zero-touch deployments for devices connected to the network both on-premise and whilst mobile. That can use vehicle on LAN technology
to automate the deployment of customized images across Windows, Android, and iOS devices. It also includes completely zero-touch deployments. You can use Configuration Manager to deploy devices that are not even switched on. Configuration Manager will automatically turn on the device, deploy the operating system or applications, and then turn the device off. Configuration Manager is now part of the Microsoft Endpoint Manager suite of tools. Our last method is a new hands-off deployment method that was introduced with Windows 10 and is called Windows Autopilot. It's been improved and streamlined since it was first introduced, and it offers a cloud-based deployment solution designed for newly purchased devices. However, it can also be used to repurpose existing devices. Windows Autopilot is not usually used to deploy the full operating system. Instead, it's used to configure a pre-installed image of Windows 10 or 11. You'll then configure the enrollment of the device into your corporate network and manage the settings for the apps and deploy policies to the device. The top-level steps to use Windows Autopilot are as follows. First, you'll register new devices with the Autopilot deployment service.
Register devices using
device IDs that are unique to each device. You'll create and apply an Autopilot deployment profile to the hardware IDs. The deployment profile includes instructions on the deployment mode and also a customized out-of-box experience or UBI for the user, such as their device language. You will then have the new devices sent to the users. The users will switch on the device and the devices will connect to the internet. The user will then verify their Azure AD logon credentials, and Autopilot will then automatically deploy the correct deployment profile, and this will start the deployment process. The devices will then be automatically joined to your Azure AD and automatically enrolled into Microsoft Intune for management. Finally, any pre-configured apps, configuration settings, and policies will then be deployed to the device.
Listen. So, register devices using hardware IDs, okay. Assign deployment profiles, okay. Send devices to users, okay. Users switch on the devices. Devices are connected to the internet. User enters the Azure ID credentials, okay. Okay. Windows Media, what's that?
In this video, we'll cover how WideRain can obtain the Windows installation media so that they can perform a clean installation of Windows 10 and 11. There are three different types of media that you may come across when installing Windows. These are ISO, which stands for International Organization for Standardization, WIM, or Windows Image File, and ESB, which is the Electronic Software Download. ISO is one of the original standard file system formats used by several operating systems. Historically, ISOs were used for DVDs and CDs. ISOs contain exact duplicates of the data in one single huge file. The ISO file will contain data, the file system information, directory structures, file attributes, and boot information. And media burning software can take a single ISO file and directly write this image onto a DVD or CD. ISO images are available from the Volume Licensing Service Center, from Visual Studio subscriptions, and via the Microsoft Evaluation Center. The Windows Image File, or WIM, was first introduced with Windows Vista. WIM allows Microsoft to include one or more operating systems inside a single WIM file by using compression and catalog files. WIM is used for installation purposes and allows you to deploy Windows in a non-destructive file-based manner. This means that the image can be deployed without first erasing the existing contents of the volume. The most recent development in media format is the Electronic Software Download, or ESD format. This format is essentially an encrypted, highly compressed version of the Windows image file format. By using compression technology, it allows the image to be compressed up to 30% smaller than a corresponding WIM, which is ideal when downloading or updating over a slow internet connection. There are several ways for obtaining Windows installation media. These are from the Volume Licensing Service Center, via a Visual Studio subscription, via the Microsoft Evaluation Center, and also from the Microsoft Store. Microsoft offer an online repository containing all of the different products that they produce. This is called the Volume Licensing Center. Any enterprise which purchases services by volume licensing, which is the purchase of many user licenses, but also single solo copies of the software, can access the Volume Licensing Center and download the Windows images directly from Microsoft.
Okay.
Another method to obtain a Windows image is to download the software from the Visual Studio Subscriptions website. This is where subscribers can obtain developer tools, cloud services, software, and support. The Microsoft Evaluation Center, as shown on screen, is a well worth a visit. This has a wide variety of supported software available in ISO and virtual lab environments. From the Evaluation Center, you can download a Windows ISO as a trial version, which is valid for up to 90 days. If you want to visit the Microsoft Evaluation Center, you can do so by using the URL on screen. Smaller consumers can buy and download software from the online Microsoft Store at Microsoft.com or from other online stores. They can also visit a retail outlet and purchase a boxed version of the software. Inside the retail box is normally a USB thumb drive or a download URL, together with the product key, which is required to activate the software. Let's drop onto our demo PC and take a look at how to obtain a Windows image. First, I'll visit the Windows Store, where you can buy a new PC with Windows 10 or 11, or if you click the products link, you can singly buy a Windows Home or Pro Edition license directly from the website.
From where did I download that? What the fuck? Or maybe that I also, like, he understood that I already have the 11 and I already have the license, and that's why I don't need to buy. But if I went 11, do I have it? No. Still, yeah. Okay. I mean, Microsoft Windows, wait a minute.
Or if you click
Guys, I don't see Windows, out Windows, get Windows. How to get Windows 11? By Windows 11 Home. Why does it cost 2.35, man? Look. And what's the difference between this website and this website? Like, what? See? Go to Windows. So try to download Windows 11. How to get Windows 11? Buy. So G, NG, and EUS. Dude, what the fuck? I don't understand, man.
How to obtain a Windows image. First, I'll visit the Windows store where you can buy a new PC with Windows 10 or 11. Or if you click the products link, you can single.
It was 139. Now it's what the fuck? 235. What the fuck? My curse guy has literally one at 139, man. I don't understand. I don't understand. Windows 10, Windows 4 ARM. ARM-based PCs. Yeah, it's for yeah, Apples. ARM-based PCs. Like, what? Go again. Go to Windows. Those are features and tips. Continue to business version. Man. Meet. The fuck, bro? About Windows. Meet Windows and cover Windows. No Windows has security. I have features on Copilot. Draw PC gaming. Smartphones get Windows. Shop PCs. I have choose a PC by Windows. Oh, okay. To get. But I think this skips that. You know? Add to cart. Maybe if you go add to cart. Download digital. I don't understand. Hmm. It's a fucking bullshit.
For Windows Home or Pro Edition license directly from the website. Another method is to download the trial software from the Visual Studio subscription website. Here, subscribers can obtain developer tools, cloud services, software, and support. I'll log on to my Visual Studio subscription, and I'll show you how to subscribe. access the library of software made available by Microsoft for download, internal use, and for testing. I'll click on the downloads and I can see Windows 11, which I'll select. And notice I can filter by product version. I'll put the latest version of Windows. It's also useful to click the information to establish exactly what is inside the ISO. You can see here that the file name has a unique reference number at the end. I can click the product key link and this will display all the license keys available to my subscription that I can use to activate the software contained in my Visual Studio subscription. I'll select the file type, such as DVD. Once I'm happy, I can click download and download the DVD ISO. You'll notice the file name corresponds to the same file displayed in the information detail screen we saw earlier. The ISO downloads will now proceed, and I can save these to a USB thumb drive or use them natively as an ISO file to burn to a DVD. For some of their devices, Wirebrain need to perform a clean installation rather than perform an in-place upgrade. We've reviewed how to obtain the installation media, therefore let's now see how to perform a clean installation. For the majority of home and small business users, there's no need to install Windows since it's pre-installed with the device. Also, with installation. For the majority of home and small business users, there's no need to install Windows since it's pre-installed with the device. Also, with the introduction of Windows Autopilot for enterprises, keeping the existing installed version of Windows and then just applying the corporate settings, apps, any user settings and policies on top makes good business sense. However, sometimes devices do need to be completely wiped and then the operating system needs to be reinstalled using a reference image. There are several reasons why you might want to perform a clean installation. I mentioned earlier that this might be due to the fact that the device has been infected by a virus, or malware, or the current operating system cannot be upgraded, or perhaps the PC.
Wait. So there was this Windows Media Creation 2. Create installation media for Windows. Create installation media for Windows. I know that this is without a license, right? It's without a license, but software download, Windows, Microsoft. Let's go. Where is that? Other couple of Windows Surface or Microsoft. Software Windows apps. The request is blocked. What? Software. Internet business development, other educational stories, free downloads and security. Free downloads, top downloads, and categories. Okay, Windows. Okay, and we are here. Fuck you. Fuck you. And you. And you. And you as well.
It's too unstable to cope with a device being infected by a virus or malware, or the current operating system cannot be upgraded, or perhaps the PC is too unstable to cope with an upgrade. Some businesses like to hold on to the belief that a clean installation is the best way to proceed, and some customers will like to include a customized start menu, their own applications and settings, and custom help information into their Windows installations. And they'll do this by creating a bespoke enterprise image and then deploying this, including the drivers that they need for the devices, using the tools that we mentioned earlier, such as using the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit or Configuration Manager. Obviously, this type of deployment can be more complex and time-consuming, and this must be included in your determination of the method of deployment that you choose. Let's drop onto our demo PC and see how to perform a clean installation. I have my Windows 11 installation DVD, and I'm about to perform a clean installation. When the PC first boots, if there's a DVD present, then the BIOS will prompt you to press any key to boot from the DVD. We need to acknowledge this to start the Windows installer. However, if your computer doesn't offer, which asks you for your region, keyboard, and locale, you need to click the Custom Install option and then choose the default drive. Depending on your speed of your system, Windows 11 installs pretty quickly. During the installation, the computer may reboot several times, and then Windows will require several more setting configurations from you. On subsequent reboots, if you see the option to press any key to boot to DVD or CD, you should ignore these prompts. During the setup installation phase, it installs pretty quickly. During the installation, the computer may reboot several times, and then Windows will require several more setting configurations from you. On subsequent reboots, if you see the option to press any key to boot to DVD or CD, you should ignore these prompts. During the setup installation phase, you'll see on-screen progress being displayed. We've speeded up the installation for the demonstration.
Okay.
You'll need to create an account for this PC. It's also recommended that you create a password and password hint, and then click Next. Windows 11 will then finalize the configuration. Once this is completed, the Windows 11 desktop is displayed, and the clean installation of Windows 11 is complete.
Okay. What's my license terms? Actually, I want to know. Sounds pro. Yeah, when you restart. So when I finish the stream, I'm gonna restart the stream.
In this module, we looked at the various tools and methods that we can use to perform a clean install of Windows 10 or 11. We looked at how to install Windows on an individual device by installing Windows from a DVD or USB thumb drive. We then looked at enterprise installation methods to be used when installing Windows at scale. These methods included Windows Deployment Services,
We did not look at anything, man.
Toolkit, Configuration Manager, and Windows Autopilot. We also looked at the various types of media files available, including ISO, WIM, and ESD, and also how to obtain the installation media, such as from the Volume Licensing Center, from a Visual Studio subscription, and from the Microsoft Evaluations.
The fuck? Fuck.
Or by purchasing the media online from a retail store. Finally, we reviewed the reasons for wanting to perform the installation of Windows, and then we dropped onto our demo PC to see a clean installation of Windows 11 from an image saved to a DVD.
Okay.
We know that Widebrain are planning to upgrade some of their devices to Windows 10 and 11 using the clean install method. Once the clean install is completed, the updated devices can be reconnected to the company network, ready to be used. However, we also
Listen, guys. So let me tell you one thing. There are people in my country. I'm from Georgia. We aren't buying Windows like that, man. We're just getting it from people. You know, right now my Windows is fucking activated, man. See? I have the license. But I didn't pay anything. Like, actually, I brought the laptop, but I mean, I know this laptop is from I don't know, eBay or something like that. It was like, and this guy installed the Windows. How are third-party small businesses mass installing Windowses on for their customers? Cloning method. They set up a one perfect PC, install Windows, flash drivers and apps, then clone it. Tools: Macrine Reflect, Clonezilla, Acronis, Ghost, Old, MDT imaging. They capture that setup into an image file, then they deploy it to 10, 50, or 500 PCs. Looks at after install. Microsoft deployment toolkit. MDT. MDT. Fuck. Download MDT. So things we have on what? Do we have Microsoft deployment tool? Deployment toolkit. Token immediate retirement notice. What? So it's not. Yeah, there is no immediate retirement. Hmm. Just autopilot. Okay, what's that? How can we download this, for example? What the fuck? Fuck. You understand? No, 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 no. This is not PX XE network boot. Must install over LAN. Okay. Just takes PC boots from network. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Unattended installation. I don't mean mass install, mass deployment. I mean that, for example, instead of purchasing Windows from official website, people in other countries, people in different countries, go to third-party. People go in different countries, go to third-party persons who are installing Windows for them with licenses and with considerably low amount. If you guys for example Windows of this Office for cheap and give a license to, there are a few different things going on here, and only some of them are legitimate. Some of the normal IT shops, some third parties that are completely legal and civil. Okay, repair shops, they license in bulk or OM form. Windows for customers, they charge for license plus setup. Common legal, so OM license, for instance, or hardware. That case, in volume discounts, authorized resellers. These are basically normal IT technicians. Gray market license, okay. Buy Windows license in bulk. Let's see. Okay. Volume licensing. Okay. Hmm. Authorized partner. Look at Microsoft partner to discuss bulk tailored deals for OM or volume licenses. Those sell OM versions of Windows Home Pro. These are generally legitimate. What the fuck? Pro USB. Use $10 off with promo code. Okay, limit offer. OEM retail. Okay. I don't want DVD. Okay, let's see. For example, yeah. OM, what does OM mean in Windows? Original equipment manufacturing Windows Interior Service. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So, Amazon. So they're the downloadable operating systems. Yeah, I don't want downloadable, man. Softwares and device, softwares, operating systems, licenses. What the fuck? What's that? With a high availability for unlimited gas. Holy shit, man. Windows 11. What was the gray market? So license resellers very common. This is what you're probably using. They sell cheap Windows keys that are volume license keys, Mac EMS. I don't understand. Okay. CMD. Administrator. I'm gonna hide my screen. And yeah, it's OEM. It's OEM, yeah. Pre-install license. Where can I buy cheap OM or Windows licenses? Okay, King Queen. Let's see. What do we have? Oh, I have GVG Mail. Discounted on Windows keys. Discounted? What does that mean? Let's see. Amazon listings. Many of these came marketplaces resell OM volume keys cheaply, but not all are authorized by distributors. Some keys. Okay. Reddit. 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 Is okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Best Buy staples. Rating systems. Okay. Have two. FPP, USB English, OMI DVD. Yeah. Okay. So which website is the safest to purchase from? Okay. Credit card details, which is a shit ton of keys, and resell them at a discount. It's away. Okay. We still know home retail. These are still like considerably high price, I would say. You know, considerably high price. Fuck. Wait. Musgrave Dev. Activation scripts. Oh, okay. But it would tell me that it's, you know, okay. Any other than mass is incorrect. Keys fan with code ZAC50. You can get one for like 20. Okay. Node keys. Let's see. Okay. 28. What the fuck? Why is this so cheap? If it came with it, It may have an integrated one. They are pre-activated usually, as it's like an old XP leftover or something. I have dealt with leftovers that had a while back. Yeah, no, I have used chip keys for over 10 years with no issues. Canvas had to activate Windows free. Please, you should be buying it, yeah. Can I see? It was Commander. No. CMD. Run as administrator. Can I see the history? Oh, that. Oh, that. Oh, you don't see it? Did I not hide my screen? I have hidden my screen, no? Holy shit, guys. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Holy shit, guys. Holy shit. I have not done anything. I have not done anything. I'm just looking in the Reddit. You know? We have been live for already 3 and 24, 3 to 24. Okay, let's finish this course, I would say.
One of the disadvantages of a clean install method is that the user data and settings are not retained. Therefore, in this module, we'll show the migration strategies that WideBrain can use to protect the settings and customizations during an upgrade. This means that once the clean installation has been completed, all of the settings and customizations can be reapplied before the devices are handed back to the end users. We'll cover the following in this module. We'll look at an introduction to migration strategies. We'll look at the two different migration strategy types, side-by-side migration and a wipe and load migration. And then we'll look at the different migration tools that can be used to help you migrate user settings. Before we look at how to perform a migration, let's explore the options and the benefits of preserving user settings when moving to Windows 10 or 11 within an enterprise environment. WideBrain allow their users to customize their Windows environment. Users can customize their desktop layout, start menu, add favorites.
Let me post on X. Let me post on X, guys. My Like this is like really boring, guys, right? Symphony.
So settings and set up application settings, such as autotype. As users invest more and more time effort in making these adjustments, this becomes a valuable asset and it suits their needs and requirements. And ideally, we should help preserve these changes wherever possible. Migrating customizations and application settings means that users will find it much easier to use their newly upgraded devices, which will then increase user productivity and reduce the need for support from the IT help desk, which in turn is cheaper for the organization. The data and settings that can be migrated typically relate to the user and include the following: the user registry, this is the H key current user; user data, which covers all user specific folders such as documents, favorites, pictures, videos, and music; and user settings. These are the configuration settings that the user may have changed. It also includes any application data, and this is really important because this covers all those small application specific settings and customization that the user may have spent many hours customizing and refining for their use. Collectively, these components are known as the user state. Let's drill down into one of these components, the user settings, and we'll take a look at what can be migrated within. User settings, we can migrate data stored in the user profile, any personalizations such as themes, fonts, and shortcuts, some application-specific settings, settings made within the Windows interface, any files and folders stored in common locations such as pictures, music, and documents, but also in bespoke locations on the computer hard drive. In a managed IT scenario, some of these settings can be centralized.
This guy is annoying.
Such as roaming profiles or enterprise state roaming, which will require a server-based or Azure Active Directory infrastructure, and we'll cover these in a later course. Let's drop onto our demo PC and take a look at some of the settings that a user can change. It can be then migrated automatically. If using Edge, then the settings and favorites are preserved. Files stored in a user's profile can be automatically migrated, including music, pictures, and videos, and also files stored in offline files and folders. Some taskbar settings and desktop themes if migrating to the same version of Windows, and also bespoke locations on the user hard drive. There are two types of migration that we'll consider. These are the side-by-side migration and the wipe and load or refresh migrations. Let's first look at the side-by-side migration. In a side-by-side migration, the user's old device will be taken away and the user will be given a new device. To preserve the user settings, an administrator will copy the user state from the older source computer to an intermediate store, such as a removable hard drive or network location. The store can be on another hard drive, DVD, or even a network share on the server. It does not matter as long as the intermediate store is accessible by both the old and new devices. After installing the new operating system and any applications, the administrator then migrates the user state from the intermediate store onto the destination computer. The benefits of using side-by-side migration are that the information is still available on the old computer, and this can be used if there are any issues that occur after the upgrade. You could roll back the upgrade if needed, since you still have the old PC, and the disruption to users is reduced as the older system can continue to be used whilst the new system is being prepared. You'd use the side-by-side migration where the source PC is too old to be upgraded, but you want to preserve the user settings to be migrated to the new PC. Let's now look at the second migration method, wipe and load. In a wipe and load migration, each employee will keep the same computer. This computer will be upgraded to a new version of Windows with a clean install. Before the clean install process starts, the user state will be copied off the PC to an intermediate store. Each PC will be upgraded with a new version of Windows installed, plus applications will also need to be deployed. And then an administrator will restore the user state onto the new PC by copying it from the intermediate store. A wipe and load migration is useful where an in-place upgrade is not suitable.
You know what, guys? This thing is so crazy. Like, it's for, I don't know. You might go like download like books from Harvard and like the syllabus and learn from there. I don't know.
To upgrade a device to a newer version of Windows. The advantages of a wipe and load method are the same advantages that we saw earlier with the clean install method. These include the wipe and load method enables you to move from one architecture to another. For example, when moving from 32-bit to a 64-bit architecture. It also allows you to repartition drives as part of the upgrade process, or change the language version.
Holy shit.
You can downgrade to a different Windows edition, perhaps from Windows 10 Enterprise to Windows 10 Pro. Wipe and load migration is a more complex process than side-by-side migration. Therefore, it's advised that you use migration tools for the process. We'll now take a look at the migration tools offered by Microsoft. The Windows Easy Transfer GUI tool was included in Windows 7 and Windows 8. However, Microsoft removed support in Windows 8.1, although you can still use this tool if you have access to a Windows 7 or 8 DVD. This wizard-based migration tool can be used to migrate the user account settings and files from a single PC to a new Windows 10 PC. However, it will not migrate installed programs. If you're looking to migrate only a handful of PCs, then the WET or Windows Easy Transfer can be useful and reliable.
We don't have VET? No.
Enterprises do not migrate the user state manually. During a typical upgrade, they will need to manage hundreds, if not thousands, of devices, and therefore they'll use enterprise migration tools. There are many free enterprise tools available, including the DISM, or Deployment Imaging Servicing and Management Tool, the NDT, or Microsoft Deployment Toolkit, WCD, Windows Configuration Designer,
Enterprise migration for deployment, imaging, servicing, and management. DSM, Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. This is not available anymore. I'm a Windows Configuration Designer. PowerShell.
And also the User State Migration Tool, or USMT for short. The DISM tool, or Deployment Imaging Servicing and Management Tool, is built into Windows. It's a command line tool which can also be used with a command prompt or with PowerShell. It's used to manage, install, update, and configure Windows features, packages, drivers, settings, and Windows image files, such as WIM files. They're included in the deployment image. It can also be used from Windows 7 onwards, with extra functionality included for Windows 10 and 11, such as the ability to compress the OS files and also the provision packages to save space. The Microsoft Deployment Toolkit, or MDT, is a free collection of tools and processes for automating desktop and server deployment. Large-scale deployments can be managed from a centralized console to reduce deployment time and also to standardize the imaging. The MDT tool breaks down the process into many steps or stages, which are then applied onto a device step by step. You can use the tool to create a deployment package, including steps for the operating system software, device drivers, patches, and applications, or to manage the migration of the user state. The Windows Configuration Designer, or WCD, is a tool available as a store app for Windows 10 and Windows 11. It's also included in the Windows Assessment and Deployment Toolkit, the Windows ADK. The Windows Configuration Designer allows administrators to create provisioning packages for both desktop and mobile devices. It can be used to configure devices once the initial Windows setup has been completed, including migrating the user state. Settings are configured and provisioned inside a package with a ppkg file extension. These provisioning packages can then be distributed by email as attachments or via a download link or across the network for the user to apply to their PC. PowerShell is a useful tool for administrators to manage and automate tasks. These tasks can include managing upgrades and Windows images. For example, the Deployment Imaging Servicing and Management DISM tool can be managed and scripted using PowerShell.
Okay.
And the tools and processes within the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit, or MDT, can also be managed and automated by using PowerShell. By creating standard Windows upgrade images using the deployment tools, and then using PowerShell scripts to automate the upgrade process, large-scale migration projects can be managed easily and relatively hands-off. Finally, the USMT, or User State Migration Toolkit, large-scale migration projects can be managed easily and relatively hands-off. The tool has been updated and it allows you to migrate user settings securely at scale. It's available as part of the Windows Assessment and Deployment Kit. It's actually a set of 3 command line tools. These include scan state, load state, and USMT utils. In this module, we reviewed why migration to the user state is often part of a clean install process. We looked at which data and settings can be migrated, including the user registry, user data, user settings, and application data, all together collectively known as the user state. We then looked at side-by-side migration and wipe and load migration and the benefits of each of these migration methods. Finally, we reviewed the tools available to perform the user state migration, with particular focus on the enterprise migration tools that you'll use to perform migrations at scale.
Okay. One module remaining, guys.
Wirebrain will be clean installing Windows 10 and Windows 11 on some of their devices. Because they need to customize the Windows images they'll deploy, they've decided to use the tools within the Windows Assessment and Deployment Toolkit to perform the updates. The Windows ADK contains a library of many tools. Some of these tools are used for tasks not associated with deployment, but with a performance analysis, testing reliability, or managing virtual services. In this module, I'll concentrate only on the tools within the ADK that are used for deploying devices and managing device configuration. If you want to find out more about all of the tools included in the Windows ADK, you can do so by visiting the Microsoft website shown on screen. You'll install the Windows ADK on the technician's PC, and the technician can then easily access the library of tools. The toolkit is updated with each build of Windows, and therefore you need to ensure that you keep your version of the Windows ADK up to date. Currently, the ADK is available for both Windows 10 and Windows 11. Your version of the Windows ADK up to date. Currently, the ADK is available for both Windows 10 and Windows 11. Microsoft website.
We are, let me see, system, about 25H2. We are 25H2, so we need this. How do we not have this one? Do I have to update settings? System? Windows update? Yeah, we have to update. Let's finish this.
Shown on screen.
And I'm gonna download it like afterwards, later.
Once you've downloaded the Windows ADK tool from Microsoft, you can then use the tool to create and manage custom images for Windows 10 and 11. The deployment tools available within the Windows ADK include the DISM, the Deployment Imaging Servicing and Management Tool, the Windows SIM, which is the Windows System Image Manager, and the WCD, or Windows Configuration Designer. The Deployment Imaging Servicing and Management Tool is pronounced DISM. The DISM tool is a command line tool used to capture a syscrypt Windows image, and then later to deploy that image. You can also patch and maintain an existing online or offline Windows image with DISM. DISM can be used to install, uninstall, configure, update features, packages, drivers, and configuration settings. When performing a Windows installation, you may be required to provide answers to various questions that are required during installation. Until an answer is provided, the installation will pause. You can create a windows.xml answer file. This is created by using the Windows System Image Manager, or Windows SIM. Windows SIM can also be used to validate the settings of an answer file against a Windows image, the WIM file, and also to view and configure all the component settings within a Windows image. The Windows Configuration Designer allows you to make changes to client devices. You do not need to re-image devices. You can simply tweak settings after the installation by using provisioning packages. These could include managing the Windows Start and taskbar settings. Changes to systems are deployed by using special provision package files, which are containers or a collection of the configuration settings. When a provision package is deployed to a client device, the configuration settings within the provisioning package are implemented. There are other tools associated with the Windows ADK that can be useful for when deploying Windows. These include the Windows PE, or Pre-Installation Environment tool, and also PowerShell. The Windows Pre-Installation Environment, or WinPE, is an add-on to the Windows ADK. Okay. You can download and install the WinPE tool at the same time as the Windows ADK. WinPE is a special compact version of the Windows operating system. It has a minimal graphical interface and it runs entirely in memory using a RAM disk boot. You can use the WinPE to boot a device, capture Windows images, set up your hard drive before installing Windows, modify the operating system when it's not running, recover data from unbootable devices, and repair Windows images. Whenever you install Windows, the Windows Setup program uses a customized version of the WinPE to bootstrap the process of installation. Whilst not part of the ADK, I'll mention PowerShell as it's another useful tool. PowerShell provides administrators with a task automation and scripting tool. It uses a special command line shell built into Windows and commandlets that are used to configure and manage nearly every component of a Windows operating system and other software from Microsoft. Let's drop onto our demo PC and take a closer look at the components of Windows ADK. In this demonstration, I want to show you how to create an answer file for a Windows 11 installation by using the Windows ADK tool, Windows System Image Manager, or Windows SIM. I've already installed the Windows ADK, so therefore I'll first open the Windows SIM tool, and then I'll find a Windows image that I want to create the answer file for. I'll open the Windows image, and then in the answer file pane, I'll select the top mode and right-click and select New Answer File. I'll then use the Windows image file pane to select the component or package that I want to include in the answer file. I'll select this one here and then right-click and select a configuration path. And the component has been added to the answer file. I can add other components as required, or even amend a setting for a component by using the Setting section of the Properties pane. Once I've finished, I'll save the answer file and close the tool. Let's drop onto our demo PC and take a look how to create a provisioning package for a Windows 11 device using the Windows Configuration Designer, or WCD. From the start, I'll select the Windows Configuration Designer, and on the Start page, we'll select Provision Desktop Devices. And the wizard will start, and I'll enter a name, and then click Finish. Next, we'll drill down, and we'll set up some device settings. We'll need to enter a name for the device. We can enter a product key if we want the Windows Edition to be upgraded, for example, from Pro to Enterprise. I'll leave this blank. We'll leave the setting to No for configure a shared device. That is one that's been used by more than one person, but we will select Yes to remove any pre-installed software. We'll now move to the Manage Network settings, and I'll select On to configure the Wi-Fi. I'll then enter the network SSID for our company, and then enter the network type. We'll manage the applications. So I'll add the name of the application. For demonstration purposes, I'll use Notepad XML, and I'll add this to the provisioning package configuration and define the installer path for the app. On the Manage Certificates, I can add a new certificate and add the path from where the certificate is located. And the final section allows me to set a password to protect the provision package. And I'll add a password to ensure that the package can only be used by the authorized users on the authorized devices. And finally, I'll click Create, and the package will be built. Let's now take a look at the location of the newly created provision package, and I'll use the link displayed on the screen. The package can then be copied from this location onto the installation media, such as a USB drive or a network share, or it can be emailed to a user. Once the user double-clicks the provision package, it can be used to apply the settings to a device.
Okay. That's how we did. Okay.
In this module, we first saw how to use the Windows ADK. This contains a library of many tools that are used for deployment, performance analysis, reliability testing, and managing virtual services. We then reviewed the deployment tools included in the Windows ADK, and these included the DISM, or Deployment and Image Servicing Management Tool, the Windows SIM, or Windows System Image Manager, and the Windows Configuration Designer, or WCD. We also covered the associated tools of WinPE and PowerShell. And in the final topic, we saw a demonstration of the Windows ADK and also the WCD for how to create a Windows provision package. Before we look at how to perform a migration,
97.
let's drop onto it.
Okay.
We'll now take a look at the migration tools offered by Microsoft.
Okay. Boring. Boring. It was quite literally boring. The definition of the boring. Yeah. That's all for today, guys. I didn't enjoy the course, so I think you didn't enjoy it either, like more than me. Yep. See you next time.